Hi folks, this is GoRight with Peter Boykin. I've got a good confidant that I talk to a lot, and he posts a lot of very excellent things on Facebook. And part of our show, I will reiterate a lot of what he talks about because it's good. And he's someone who's like other people who can't really get on camera and talk in person. Friend's name is Joel. And he's a very base gentleman that really does a lot and keeps me on the straight and narrow and gets me a lot of good information. And from time to time, we might actually have him on a phone call for our show. But today, and for this short episode, I wanted to talk about how you boil a frog. How do you boil a frog to death? How do you boil a frog to death? When the pen is mightier than the sword, and you want to subjugate a populace or a nation, and you know that you could never win it by force, as there is a rifle behind every blade of grass. And you can't take that rifle away. What do? Paul Revere had a horse to ride, calling the American colonists to arms. That the British were coming. The British were coming! The British are coming! Now we have the internet. And we have the media, the watchdogs of freedom, to call us to arms. Or do we? The enemies of America have poisoned the media, and thus the watchdogs of freedom have been murdered in our sleep and no longer growl and bark at the dangers that approach. And they calmly and openly freed their poisoned opinions and their tainted lies. Now, is it any wonder that so many people don't know what to believe? And so many people believe the lies, the fake news, the hate, and the division tactics of those who killed our watchdogs, now use on us to subjugate or kill us. True journalism is dead. As any real investigative reporting, our news is fluff and poisoned candies of hate and ulterior agendas of those that hate that what America is and what America stands for. And now that so many of us are now awake and understand what the enemy has done, we take to the internet and social media and social networks like Twitter and Facebook and Telegram and so forth, and we search for the truth and news there and on Google, and we warn each other and we assure each other and we find out the truth from each other, and we become our own Paul Revere calling out to arms on our internet horses, our keyboard and reins, the screens, our voices. And the enemies of truth, justice, and our American ways want to poison the waters of the internet so that we no longer have the freedom of speech, so we cannot warn nor call to arms, but to a controllable few, because a few is not an army, and a few can be subjugated with ease. But our First Amendment and our freedom of speech is not an easy thing to kill. Now, if you toss a frog in a pot of boiling water, the frog will immediately jump out and away. But if you put a frog in tepid water and then slowly increase the heat, you can boil that frog alive. Think about it. And that is what the enemies of America are doing. Slowly taking away our freedom of speech, slowly cutting down the First Amendment by increments. The mainstream media is theirs now, as are all the news outlets. Even our letters to the editor are changed to be acceptable to the new politically correct standard of the new world order, where we must all conform. 1984 and 2020. And they've begun killing our First Amendment rights on our social networks, using the exercise that the First Amendment rights do not apply to them as a business, and that we do not have freedom of speech if it's considered by them not fitting in their, quote, community standards. We have seen what? We have seen YouTube. We have seen Facebook. We have seen Twitter now changing their policies, right, folks? We've seen what they're doing. They say they're not publishers, but they are, because they tell us what's fake and what's not fake. They tell us what we can publish and not publish. They make sure that we don't get to see what we want to see. We have to struggle. I, for one, was suspended for Twitter. For what? Who knows? I ran for office. That's when they really started messing with me. They will influence the election. We're worried about Ukraine and Russia and Donald Trump and the Republicans and the Democrats and everything else. Meanwhile, the real influencers, the real people that are going after us, is social media. The real people. Don't just subjugate yourself to one social media platform. Be on all of it. Telegram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Get out there. But we don't need to forget about real activism. Real activism is important, folks. They control the news, they control the media, they control the social networks, and they control what people can say, where they can say it, and they control the information that we can have. As I say in my image, this is an image that Joel made, they will control what you will know. They will control what you think. And if they can't, they will control who will hear you, and they will silence your voice. And that is how we lose our First Amendment, and how we lose our freedom of speech, and how we lose our freedoms. And that's how you boil a frog. That's how you boil a frog. Think about it. This has been GoRight with Peter Boykin. Please share this. Please get the word out. God bless. Peace. Have a good night.
As long as we have pride in our country, confidence in our future, and faith in our God, then America will prevail.